Well, when you have a big old smile on my face of one of these reviews for World Beyond, it's going to be a fun episode, right? Fun. But it wasn't too bad tonight, guys. I will be honest. There was definitely more pluses than minuses, but there were a few things plaguing this episode as it's plagued other episodes just as well. We're talking Season 1, Episode 4, and this is World Beyond, and it's the wrong end of a telescope, which I don't really quite understand that a title for this episode, but maybe you guys can explain it to me. And then I just couldn't grab on to what I saw in the episode tonight and that title. It was just kind of bothering me a little bit as we were talking through it. So, there were some things. I think the biggest problem, well, first thing and foremost, Iris's acting capabilities are they're just unsatisfying. I mean, her mannerisms and her looks and her responses they're never up to what you would hope that it would be from someone in like an apocalypse. I just cannot get on board with her. I just feel like she's always doing idiotic things. And work with me here. When you have the main character that you're supposed to be following has tons of dialogue throughout the episode, I mean, you're supposed to be on board with this person. They're not supposed to be the biggest idiot out of the group. And she pretty much wins it. I think I would love to hear an argument on why she is not the biggest, compromised person, I think, in this group. I mean, sure, Silas, they all have their own issues, because, I know Eldon pretty much doesn't have a bad bone in his body, and he's not a killer. I get that. But he doesn't do, like, super, super idiotic things. He just gets caught in stupid situations. Iris, I can't do it. It's just so rough. Another big thing for tonight was pacing. And pacing, I'm going to kind of go back and forth between the pluses and the minuses, so bear with me as we get through this. But we get to this creepy-ass school, and mind you, great setting. I mean, I was loving this play. I would love to shoot in some old school, and in fact, I might try to do it in my zombie series sometime if I can find a location. But it was looking great. I mean, nothing looked half-assed. Everything looked old, dilapidated. You had zombies stuck inside of lockers. I mean, this place was kind of like the schoolhouse of horrors, I kind of felt. It was just really creepy. And they end up splitting into 3 groups, which I don't have a problem with splitting into multiple groups. We get to explore more of this creepy-ass school. But as 2 of the groups are kind of running into perils, which included, we had Huck and Hope together, right? And then we had Felix and Elton. And then we had Iris and Silas. And, while the 2 of the groups are actually running into some really scary and kind of creepy stuff, you have Silas and Iris just kind of chilling, doing their thing in the gymnasium. There was some kind of Sadie's Hawkins dance that was about to go down. And I kind of like the little references. They showed pictures of people. We got to see some of those dead bodies later on in the episode, kind of put you in contact with maybe what things might have been going on, that day when all hell probably broke loose, or eventually broke loose. But, those 2 just kind of wasting that time in there with their kind of, I don't want to say completely wasted dialogue, but I'd say mostly it was. But I guess they're building that relationship between them. Clearly there's something there. She likes him. Iris definitely likes Silas. I don't know if she sees him as like the wounded puppy that she kind of wants to help and, make it all better. And then maybe that might turn into who knows what, love or something else. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did you feel that connection? Because the way she was looking at him at certain times, although I really don't like her character, I definitely was seeing that kind of connection. I'd like to know. Furthermore, we get this huge buildup. This is my big problem with this episode. We get this big buildup with this something creepy going through the halls, right? We first see with Felix and Elton, and they see that blood trail, something being dragged through the halls and wasn't there before when they went into one of the rooms. Trying to figure out what is this thing. And we even see a scene where the zombie's crawling out, right? I think just after they leave, and then it just gets drugged right back into the room. And I was like, oh man, what kind of craziness is going on in here, right? Some kind of morphed zombie or something else going on. I know Walking Dead, they don't stray too far from the zombie theorem. They usually have to be slow moving, agitated, they don't run, they can't think, whatever. But it ends up being a wolf, a feral wolf. And these things are obviously super hungry. Amazing shots when they finally showed that like kind of wolf feeding ground, and it showed like the dead zombie you saw the zombie still moving its head, kind of attached to its, I guess, spinal column or whatever, just ripped to shreds. Pretty cool stuff. The gore factor, was looking great in this episode. I think you guys might agree there. But You build all this up to finally see this wolf, and it's actually Huck and Hope that actually run into this thing, and they immediately get back into a room, right? And they lock themselves off. So here's my thing. At some point, I guess they have to finally move on, and I think Huck says something like, I know how to get by this thing. Follow me. They literally just walked right by it. They walked right by it, guys. What? 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 Are you kidding me? What's the whole point? Why do you even build up some creepy threat inside this building not to even have it even try to attack one of them? And if it was because, well, we couldn't have an actual wolf attack our actors, well, then don't have a wolf then. You need to get something else. I was hoping for some creepy dude or woman running around, causing havoc, locking people in lockers, having them die, turn into zombies, do all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know, but to have this wolf, and pretty much the only point for that wolf and to build tension throughout the episode without ever really attacking is it actually ends up pushing Iris and Silas out of that gymnasium and into a harm's way, which, I hope you guys are right there with me. I could not help it. Again, this episode, so much potential. The creepiness was there. I was feeling it. I was like, okay, guys, you kind of get a little bit of a footing at times, mind you, between the muffled and crazy lame dialogue, but they get pushed. That first zombie, that's why they were stuck in there anyways. They the one door was locked and they couldn't get out the other side. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna let it in, and then and they're just running around it. This whole avoidance thing, she makes a comment about that earlier to Felix in the worst kind of mocking tone possible. I'm like, oh God, why? Writers, actress, why do you do this to me? To all of us. We're in this together, right? But they basically just kind of run around this zombie. When Felix was talking about avoidance, I don't think he literally meant when you come into contact with a zombie, avoid it at all costs. I mean, you can't really avoid this thing. It's in front of you. Why don't you just bash it? Get it out of your way. I can't help it, guys. It's very frustrating to see Iris in action. And when she finally does get in action, she just pushes the zombies with her spear. She should have gotten bitten 10 times over by this time. I'm telling you, it's so painful to watch her try to get in action. At least we finally got to see Silas unleash. And that was, I think, one of the highlights for this episode. And I know a few of you, that's kind of one of your favorite characters right now. You want to know more about him and what did he do to, I think it was his stepfather or father. Remind me, he said it towards the end. I can't remember which one. But they get stuck in this series of kind of like locker rooms or whatever, really dark, and he gets a flare and they're kind of moving through. They get some close encounters and finally they're stuck in this room. They cannot get out. And these zombies are actually, they're peeling their way through those lockers and attacking them. And it just so happens that Huck and Hope are on the other side of this C's door. It's C's/locked with chain, whatever else. And they're screaming to each other and they hear each other. And obviously this is freaking Hope out because she doesn't know what's going on. And Iris is freaking out. She's like, there's empties in here. You got to get us out of here. And it's like, then turn around and fight, woman. See, this is the problem. The fear is not there. I was talking to, just today, there's a young lady who was commenting about how, I think her name was Allie. She talked about how the fear is not there. The fear factor, it's not. You don't really feel scared for these guys. It was in this episode. I felt it was there. But then you just ruin it with these lame, choreographed fight scenes. I mean, you can do so much better. We've seen so much better. And thank God for Silas. He finally kicks in the action. He uses that big-ass wrench. Where I was like, man, you're carrying this huge thing around. You ever going to use this thing? He did. He sliced the one in the head with the end. That was awesome. And then, instead of just continuing with bashing, he decides to go just apeshit brutal with his fist on the zombie. So he tackles the thing, and he's just punching it. I mean, so clearly, killing the first zombie awoke something inside of him, something he has tried to suppress for a long time now. And he lost it. He completely lost it so much that he knocks even Elton back, kind of hurts him. What's with the ice pack that was on Elton's arm? That wasn't ice pack, right? There's no ice. Where'd they get the ice from? Or what could he possibly have been holding on his arm? Was it a heat pack? Heat pack. I didn't think about that before. It was something warming, but oh God, guys. Please tell me what you think that was. I know, I seem agitated. This episode, it's like, I have a problem when you have so much potential in an episode to unleash, and it just kind of falls right in front of our faces, and their faces for that matter. It's just, let me know what you guys thought. Did you think that they fully delivered? I thought it was a neat episode. Yes, I know I'm hitting it on some things, but I'm just like, these are things that could have been corrected by writing and just execution by the director and crew. These are things you could have tightened up, but you chose not to. And I guess it's because the production company or whatever, and they're just like, nope, we need to keep this format because it's working for us, guys. It's totally working. Oh, Speaking of working, I can't help it. I'm going to stop right here. I have to look on IMDb to see where we are with the score. Bear with me here real quick. I almost have it up. World Beyond. Let's see. I think the last time we had it, it was at a 4.3. 4.2, down another 0.1. Now, is that crazy? Not so much. I mean, it's got, what, 4,200 reviews. But it's just a staple. It's showing the show just completely failing. I saw comments out there in a review basically talking about how even Fear the Walking Dead didn't have an episode under a 6.5 for like, I think 2 or 3 seasons at least. This one has had under a 6.5 for every single episode that's been out to date. So if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. Is it an interesting show? In some ways, yes. For those who want to know more, like myself, about how it ties into the Rick days and the CRM group and some of the other rivaling factions, this Commonwealth, if they're even still involved at this point, again, all interesting concepts. I'm looking for the big payoff. These individual little situations in between, I'm just hoping for something to shock and surprise me in between and be awesome. It's still not there. I mean, again, this episode did better, but we're still not there. So I'm going to give this one, I think, a 6 tonight. 6.5. I mean, whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's somewhere in between there. I can't come down on it because I'm torn. I'm totally torn because I see potential with so much possibilities and greatness, and just to have it fall flat. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. I thought we had some fun things. I almost forgot to mention, we found out a big reveal tonight, and that was also that the sisters were adopted. Now, this might not be huge for you all. I was pretty much just oblivious to this in the beginning. Yes, I understand it could be perceived that since they didn't look alike, they were probably adopted. But why are we waiting till episode 4 to have this reveal? Why couldn't we have seen this much earlier with that flashback of the dad? We should have seen that in episode 1 or 2 at the earliest. Give us some grounding and context. There's no reason to be revealing this late in the show. And I do say late because this is a limited series. We need to get this information out. Get your people hooked, and people as in meaning the viewers, us, so that we understand what's even happening. And mind you, why do we even really care about the dad up until now? I mean, I kind of care a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. The only reason I even cared about him in the first place is because the girls want to go get to see him, right? And we got to finally see him, the egg brain, as I call him. I mean, his character is interesting. I'm stammering here because I'm just like, I almost don't know how to describe him. I was almost confused as I was watching him talk. And I was just like, are you speaking English? And he's clearly a total egg brain. But he has some great skills, right? And he has a lot of knowledge to teach others. And we even saw Hope making her stink bombs or whatever. She has some great knowledge and understanding of chemistry and some other things too. So she's not a lame brain. She just rebels because she can. And she's mad because her father left. And he did. He left fairly willingly. So at least that part of the story does align. And he left willingly. He wanted to go teach his smarts to other people in New York and all that good stuff. And Hope, you could tell she's just devastated by this. So I feel for her character. She's not, I don't think, as much of a favorite character as I thought she was going to be for me. But again, I kind of felt for her in this episode. So we had that going. So along with those pluses, I just want to mention that I think it was good to see Felix trying to talk sense. And it seems that they have a plan, as in Felix and Huck, to basically try and turn this group around. That's the whole premise for this episode. Should have mentioned it earlier, but you guys get it. You watched it. You know what's going on. I think it's interesting that they chose Elton, Felix chose Elton, I should say, to basically try to start, infiltrating into the group and kind of saying, hey, I don't think this is such a great idea after all. Maybe we should go home. You can tell he's kind of stewing on it and pondering after they have a couple of encounters, and that scary stuff of like what's around each corner. And Felix said it great. I thought that was really great dialogue in that part, actually. I like when Felix is talking. I feel like he actually has something smart to say. And Elton, although total soy boy and has not like I said, bad bone in his body, he just doesn't know what to do in a situation. And he needs to learn how to kill. He has to. He has to learn how to kill zombies. There's no point in you being outside otherwise. But Felix says, there's not something around this corner, but there will be eventually. You're not prepared for this. We find out that Elton's also claustrophobic. This poor kid, I mean, he can't win, And then he had some flashbacks of being stuck in some kind of small space, closet, who knows, a box. I don't know what the hell he was in. But whatever it was, it's a problem for him. And I think finally he starts to realize that, yeah, I guess Felix is right. I'm not ready for this. He's trying to be there for the girls, but he's not equipped. None of them are really equipped, except for, I guess, Huck and Felix. Huck, we got some extra dialogue tonight, which was kind of nice to hear her say more than 2 words throughout the entire show. I think that was a win. It was interesting, some of the things she was saying, just trying to, we don't really know much about her, but it was good to hear some more words, I guess, come out of her and at least try to make half sense when she's talking to Hope and get her also on board with turning around, even though Hope's being reluctant. She says, she's like, no, you're not going to get me to change my mind. She said, I had second thoughts on my second thoughts. And I was like, does that definitely make that third thoughts? What does it mean? I don't know. But that's what I was wondering when I was listening to that. Interesting episode. That's all I can say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this small talk and review. You know, like I said, 6.65 for this episode at best. You might be able to creep to a 7 if you're really enjoying the creepiness factor and all the other stuff and like the school and the setting. I thought, honestly, with all that alone, it should probably be almost up to a 7, but I tell you, they beat it down every time they get to that goofy-ass dialogue and the lame acting from Iris. And seeing so much of her during the episode, seeing her dancing in there with Silas, and they have that flashback. I think that was my cringe moment for tonight. What was your cringe moment for tonight? Let me know. That's, if I can get one thing out of you guys, comment on what was your cringe factor for tonight's episode. There's a couple to choose from, absolutely. Mine was when they were dancing, and then all of a sudden they like appeared like they're in like a high school dance or with other people dancing in the ballroom, right, from the music they were listening to and so forth. It has to be it for me. I just don't know. I'm looking for some big payoffs here, people. I hope you guys can stick into. Let me know. Are you going to stick in with me? Are we going to continue this brutal viewings every week, or are you guys going to jump ship and move on to other things? Let me know. Make sure to come back in on Wednesday. Adam and I are going to talk Ready or Not from 2019. I mentioned this in the other review, but yeah, come out. It was a great horror slasher, even with a twist of some other stuff going on. It was wonderful. I shouldn't have put it off this long. So we'll talk that one. There'll be some other good stuff coming along the way. I'll get some more gaming things out eventually. It's kind of just busy right now with October, Halloween, everything else. So hope you guys enjoyed. This is Michael the Z-Man Show. Like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys at the next review. See you guys.